Hello and welcome. Today, I'm taking a close look at the OSee Mega 15S, the latest production monitor from OSee. This is a compact field monitor that delivers 1650:1 contrast ratio and 1500 nits of brightness, making it perfectly usable on set, even in challenging lighting conditions. For those who may not know, OSee has built a strong reputation in the independent film industry, supplying on-camera and field monitors that you'll find on productions all over the world. But what makes the Mega 15S stand out to me is that while it's marketed as a field production monitor, it includes features I've only ever seen on high-end color grading reference displays. That immediately raised a question. Could this monitor double as a true color-accurate reference tool in post-production? If it can, the implications are significant. It could provide a much more affordable alternatives for cost-conscious colorists, independent post houses, and even for client review sessions, all without sacrificing the reliability expected from a grading monitor. To answer that question, I reached out to OSee. They generously provided me with a unit for testing with no conditions attached other than sharing my honest findings. After several weeks of hands-on use, this video is my evaluation and commentary on the Mega 15S as a potential color grading reference monitor. While the Mega 15S supports HDR, my review focuses on SDR. That's because I wanted to establish a reliable baseline against industry benchmarks like the Flanders Scientific DM series, which are widely respected for their SDR accuracy. I've worked extensively with the Flanders DM 210 and 211, so they serve as my natural point of comparison. Of course, the Flanders monitors are significantly more expensive, often out of the reach for smaller studios or freelancers, so if the OSee gets close, that's big news. Before we get into the calibration result, let's look at the design and built-in function. The Mega 15S is built for production use. It has a metal casing, V-mount and AB mount battery support, a C-stand mount for set use, and it runs both on DC and AC power. It is portable and clearly designed for on-location work. Moving to the menu system, I won't dive into every feature. There are plenty of in-depth walkthroughs available on YouTube. But here are the key functions relevant to color grading. Backlight adjustment for fine-tuning luminance. Color temperature option for setting accurate white points during calibration. The ability to load 3D LUTs directly onto the monitor. And a built-in calibration tool, which I'll demonstrate later. There are also advanced options for dynamic range, signal format, and camera color settings. Features rarely seen in prosumer monitors at this price point. Finally, I put the Mega 15S through my usual calibration workflow. Using a calibration probe and display cal software, I tested its ability to calibrate, measured its color gamut coverage, gamma stability, and delta E performance within the Rec 709 SDR space. And here's where things get interesting. The results may surprise you. So stick around because in the next part of this video, I'll break down exactly how the Mega 15S performed and whether it really can hold its own against reference grade monitors that cost several times more. A key part of my evaluation was to test how stable and accurate this display really is. To do that, I ran a series of test charts, color bars, gradient bars, and solid fills to carefully assess the quality of the colors as well as the luminance levels for both blacks and whites. As I also examined the primary colors to ensure their accuracy, I checked for any visible blemishes or unevenness across the panel. For consistency, the ambient lighting in my studio was set at around 6500K or Kelvin with approximately 10 lux of brightness. All of my testing was done in SDR using Rec 709 color space with a 2.4 gamma setting, but I did notice a few points worth mentioning. Before calibration, the grayscale and gradient charts kind of had a bluish tint, and both cyan and magenta look slightly muted. However, after calibrating the monitor and applying the calibrated lot, the gradients appeared much more neutral and the blacks aligned cleanly with the black bars. The gradient testing also confirmed that the display supports 10-bit rendering. While I couldn't find official confirmation on whether this is a true 10-bit panel, the results suggest that it is more likely an 8-bit plus FRC design. For context, even the Flanders Scientific DM210, a widely respected monitor in the industry, relies on FRC to approximate 10-bit color depth. From my perspective, this monitor represents a strong value. It delivers the features and accuracy needed for use as a budget-friendly color reference display, whether in the studio, on location, or even as a loaner unit for clients. In fact, I'd much rather have my clients reviewing work on a calibrated monitor like this than relying on their home TVs or office monitors, which often displays color inconsistency. This small investment can prevent the miscommunications we've all experienced when trying to match colors between a professional and a consumer displays. As a colorist, I've found that the Mega 15S offers several features you'd normally only see on high-end production monitors. One of my favorite features is the ability to save settings as profiles, what OSee calls sets. This lets me quickly switch between different setups depending on the project. The monitor also has 4 customizable function buttons, which I've assigned to tools I use most often. For example, one button instantly switches the aspect ratio to 2:35:1 ratio, which I rely on for framing and positioning. Another toggles false color, which is incredibly useful for exposure check. A third activates the lot from my most recent screen calibration. And the last brings up the built-in scopes. What makes this even more convenient is that I can enable these functions individually or stack them together just by pressing the buttons. It's a level of flexibility you don't get with prosumer monitors right out of the box. This kind of tools, customizable profiles, quick access to advanced functions, and integrated scopes are what sets the Mega 15S apart. They are features you typically expect only in professional color grading and production environments, and having them in one compact monitor is a real advantage. Let's go over how to calibrate the OSee Mega 15S. This monitor comes with a built-in calibration system. On the back of the monitor, there is a port where you can attach a calibration probe. I'm using the X-Rite i1 Display Pro, which is supported by the monitor's calibration system. You will need to supply your own probe. Navigate to the monitor settings and go to the advanced setup. Select the color calibration option and confirm that you will want to perform the calibration. Position the probe near the center of the screen and select confirm to start the process. A series of color patches will appear on the display. The probe will take measurements from these patches, which the monitor uses to calculate the calibration. This process usually takes just a minute or two, making it the fastest way to calibrate your screen. Once the calibration finishes, you can either apply the new setting or revoke them. That's all there is to it. You can then exit the color calibration app and return to the main monitor settings menu. The advantage of using the built-in calibration is that it is quick, simple, and aligns the screen based on the factory measurements. The downside is that it does not provide a report of the calibration values, so you will not know exactly what changed. This method is ideal for on-set calibration or when you need a quick adjustment between more thorough calibration sessions, which I will be showing next. This calibration method uses DisplayCal, a third-party software, for a more thorough calibration process. I am using the same X-Rite i1 Display Pro calibration probe and also using the Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve software to generate the color patches. The Mega 15S is connected externally to my computer via an SDI clean feed through a Blackmagic Ultra Studio mini monitor. Using this method, I can manually adjust the RGB controls and luminance for the white point, giving me full control over the screen calibration. I place the probe on the Mega 15S screen and control the calibration settings through the computer application. After adjusting the white point, I start the calibration process. This is a more labor-intensive process and can take some time to complete. Once finished, the software provides detailed information about the color space, gamma volume, and other metrics related to the newly calibrated profile. This profile can be saved and loaded onto the Mega 15S as a lot, allowing me to switch calibrations based on the colored space and gamma I'm using for color grading. One minor inconvenience is that the color temperature control used to adjust the RGB values for the white point is displayed right in the center of the screen. This requires moving the probe aside during adjustment and then centering it again for calibration. I hope OSee updates the firmware so that these controls can be positioned on the side or top or the bottom of the screen to avoid obstructing the probe. This method is more precise and takes ambient studio lighting into account. Depending on the environment, calibration values and the generated lot profile may vary. The goal is to achieve the best possible color space volumes for your target color space and the lowest delta E values to meet the nominal tolerance for a color-accurate display. Here's the calibration report I generated for this monitor. It shows good nominal tolerance for color accuracy compared to similar but much more expensive production monitors. For the budget-conscious colorists, filmmakers, or client previews, I think this is a practical alternative. I am not claiming it matches or exceeds a Flanders Scientific monitor, but it does perform as good as the Flanders DM LED panel series, which I am familiar with, and outperforms most high-priced pro-consumer displays as I have used as reference monitors in the past. After completing my tests, my own conclusion is this. The OSee Mega 15S is not just another field monitor. It is a serious contender in the world of affordable color-accurate displays. While it may not replace a Flanders or a Sony for high-end grading suite, it comes impressively close for a fraction of the price. For independent filmmakers, post houses working on a budget, or anyone needing a reliable client review monitor, the Mega 15S delivers tremendous value. So if you're considering a monitor that bridges on-set practicality with post-production accuracy, the OSee Mega 15S deserves a place on your shortlist. Let me know what you think, and thank you for watching.